This is a suffocating. I know. I may have to. Oh, I can't. We still got 2 minutes, I guess. You can call me. I may just. I might show up at the course. Get you on a mower, we'll just take off. 70 acres, 105 acres is all ours. You know, there is those spaces to find where you can think clearly. Where's your space? Walking. Yeah. I like to just go for walks or swimming. Swimming really is. Didn't you just join the water? I've been there for quite a while, but yeah, I swim 3 times a week. Do you? And there's something about moving through the water, so swimming and trying to focus on, it's kind of meditative, focus on my strokes, the rhythm, and then every now and then someone will go, oh God, I remember to call you out. And I'm like, file it away. If it's worth remembering, it'll come. You know, that's the part, because it never comes back. That's why you'll have to talk to me. I'll be your record keeper in my head, right? Right. So should I bang it? Give him a minute to settle in. Yeah. And then I'm doing the spotlights. I don't know, do you have any other spotlights? No, just yours. Okay.
Good morning. My name is Lori McCullum. I'm on the Board of Trustees and on the Environmental Justice team and the Welcome team. I think that's it. Welcome to our service today. Unitarian Universalism encourages an open-ended search for meaning in life and a commitment to asking our values to shape our actions. We are a pluralistic religion that draws wisdom from many sources. We welcome all people into our beloved community of whatever age, race, class, ethnicity, physical ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or religious background. We welcome especially those worshiping with us for the first time. Guests are welcome to participate in any activities in our community. Welcome team members are wearing green name badges and are ready to answer any questions you may have if you're a visitor or new to this congregation. Pastoral care team members are wearing yellow name badges and are able to talk with you if you have life transitions or need assistance. We invite everyone to join us downstairs after service for coffee and snacks so that we can get to know each other better. Thank you for being with us today. Do we have any spotlights? I see you standing there, Gail. Yes.
Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to remind everybody, in case you didn't see the newsletter, next Sunday after service at about 11:30, we are going to be having an informational meeting about the RE. So if you are interested, have questions, just get your coffee and come on up here. We're going to be doing that in the sanctuary. If you have any questions, you can ask myself or Brian. Thank you.
I guess I'm the next spotlight. First of all, I wanted to let you know about something that you may have seen in the weekly email that came out. Hospitality coffee hour is going to be suspended for the month of July. UUs are going to meet without treats, okay? We're doing this for several reasons. First of all, we used to have like 12 or 15 teams and we're down to 7. We used to have 10 or 12 on each team, and we're down to 8. And so people are rotating through pretty often. And July is often a month when people are traveling, so we're just going to take the month off and kind of reevaluate after that. We're going to ask you, though, we use this opportunity to collect non-perishable items, and we will donate those to a local food bank. So instead of eating, we're going to give food away. Also, if you're on any teams, please erase your dates for July and August. We'll start over in August, assuming that's what we decide to do. If you're not on a team and you'd like to be on a team, we welcome more people to help with hospitality. Secondly, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our 2 outgoing board members, Alice Martin and Barb Thompson. Would you guys please stand? They have been an invaluable help to this congregation, and I know Alice in particular has served for more than 3 years as board chair, and kind of walked into that job involuntarily, and we greatly appreciate all of their support. I'd also like to introduce your new board. So for 2024 and 25, your Board of Trustees will include Bill, oh my gosh, Stengel. Sorry about that. Bill, if you're here, can you stand? Darcy Anderson as clerk. Bill is going to be vice chair. John DeGrieve as treasurer. John, stand up. Well, I know you're here. There you are. Miriam Andrews-Ullman as trustee. Linda Pratt as trustee. And Gail Springer as trustee. And next year, I'm going to be your chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Gates. These are our opening words, and my opening word is, I am Alice Martin and a member of the religious service team. While I was preparing for my reflection, I came across a question that left me thinking. It's a question or a problem written by Anne Lamott, author, and she writes, "Your problem is how you are going to spend this one odd and precious life that you have been issued. Whether you are going to spend it trying to look good and creating the illusion that you have power over people and circumstances, or whether you are going to taste it, enjoy it, and through community find out the truth of who you are." So then my questions took over. Which part of this problem am I living? What gets me up in the morning? How do I know I am tasting life, or if I'm just trying to get through the day? It sent me then to a remembrance of a quote by Desmond Tutu on what Africans refer to as Ubuntu. And he writes, "Africans have a thing called Ubuntu. It is about the essence of being human. It embraces hospitality, caring about others, being willing to go the extra mile for the sake of another. We believe that a person is a person through other persons, that my humanity is caught up, bound up with yours. When I dehumanize you, I dehumanize myself. When I lift you up, I lift myself up. Being a solitary human being is a contradiction in terms. Therefore, you seek to work for the common good because your humanity comes into its own in community and belonging." So then I had a whole other set of questions. You should live inside my mind. It's just like this all the time. So I had different questions. How do I come to realize in my own life the gift of community? Who do I give to the community that helps create Ubuntu? How does being in community help me to taste life, to live it into the world? So I think I came upon my answer when I met Grace. In my reflection, I will introduce you to her and see if she might not be your friend as well. We will now light the chalice with the words on the screen. May the flame that we are held and welcomed whole without the need to hide a single piece or part of who we are. Please rise as you are willing and able to sing our opening hymn, "For the Earth Forever Turning," on page 163. And afterwards, we will take a moment to greet each other in community. Now, for the joy of being together, let us greet each other.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So today I thought I'd do things a little bit differently, and in the spirit of togetherness and community and lifting each other up, we are simply going to make a song together. I have a bin of musical instruments, so first I will let the children come up and grab an instrument. One instrument. 2 people for that? Okay. And then Addie, I'm gonna need your help. Once everyone finds their instrument, I'm gonna need you to walk around with the bucket for any grown-ups that would like a musical instrument. So now Addie will be walking around, and feel free to grab a musical instrument and join in as you feel inspired. And feel free to just kind of close your eyes and feel the music. Thank you, everyone. Okay, and if you can. And now Alice is going to tell us more about how we can work together to make our congregation a beautiful place. And downstairs, the children will be talking about gratitude and how they can lift each other up to make the congregation a better place. So, everybody, let's go.
Good morning. I'm Susan Perry, a member of the Pastoral Care Associates ministry team. As we gather today, we pause to reflect on what lies within our hearts. In this time of sharing, we take a moment to recognize our personal joys and sorrows and to read from the book of joys and sorrows those personal life events you have chosen to share with us. We have a joy from Greg McGee that Sawyer David Murphy made him a grandfather on Friday, June 21st. He's early but healthy. Another joy, Doug McCollum, his band is playing this Thursday night at 7 o'clock at Bass Street Landing in Moline. And one sorrow, Erica Pickrell states a family friend in the Walcott area lost their home in a fire last night. Thankfully, all of the people got out okay, but they are in need of clothes for a 5-year-old boy and a 2-year-old boy, if anyone can help. Are there any online?
Not yet.
Okay, let me know. Thank you. For what has been shared and for what remains in the quiet sanctuary of our hearts, we are grateful. Let us become aware of the energy that brings us together in beloved community as we share a time of silent meditation. May we open our minds and hearts to a place of quiet, to a silent prayer for the healing of pain and the comfort of love. You are invited to come forward and light a candle during the musical meditation that follows.
A joy came in.
Okay?
No concern.
Ashley Price. Please pray for my son family.
Okay, thank you.
This is the time in our service where we have an opportunity to give back. Our congregation is a diverse religious community with membership open to all who accord with our mission, principles, and vision. We are self-governed by a democratic process, and one of the privileges of our free church tradition is to provide all of the financial support for our many ministries that we have here. Generosity is therefore one of the spiritual values we recognize as central to our personal and our institutional well-being. We are sharing the plate this month with Quad Cities Affirming Diversity. It's a long-standing organization in the Quad Cities that provides resources, advocacy, and support to the LGBTQI community and other marginalized parties. It was actually founded in 1990 by Joyce and Jack Wiley, members of this congregation. They continue to advocate for public awareness, safety, and support to create an inclusive community. We ask that you give generously. Let this time begin. Have any of you ever had a profound moment in your life when a realization broke over you, through you, and in you, almost as if a light switch clicked on and you saw light sweep across the darkness, and then you knew, as truth, something that had always just been out there? Really knew that some truth hiding in that darkness within us revealed itself almost as if it said, "Hi, I've been waiting for you." We might call those moments synergetic, mysterious, divinely inspired, magical, an aha moment. Anne Lamott, an author, calls them grace, as she writes, "I do not at all understand the mystery of grace, only that it meets us where we are, but does not leave us where it found us." Today's reflection is one such moment in my life long ago that did not leave me where it found me, but was really the beginning of a journey that brings me to stand here today in this congregation doing this service. This awakening for me started with two Christian Orthodox icons that met me where I was, but did not leave me where they found me. So, it was 30 years ago. I was in Lutheran Seminary, commuting from Bettendorf on the path to be ordained. I was really struggling. I was weary of the rigorous schedule, exhausted from trying to prove myself that I was on the right path, struggling to fit in with a group that sometimes were far more wise than I thought I was. I was doubtful that this was even the path that I had chosen to follow. But I plodded on, One step forward, two backwards. The heaviness of my heart was ignored by my determination to succeed. So it was that one day, a professor in one of my classes, after reading one of my essays, wrote on top of it in red ink, "You need to see me!" Exclamation points. With trepidation, I went into her office, and she offered to be my spiritual director, as she has observed I very much needed one. And so began my journey with Barb. One day, Barb put before me the first of two icons. Now, icons are of special significance to Orthodox Christianity. It's a liturgical art form painted by monks as far back as the 4th century. Through fasting and prayer, the monk painted on parchment the realm of the Spirit as inspired in them through stories or characters from the Bible. That day, Barb put before me an icon called Jacob's Ladder. It is from a story in the Old Testament concerning Jacob, a follower of God, depicting a dream he had, ascending and descending a 30-rung ladder. Each rung represents a moral step needed to enter heaven. If any pilgrim seeking heaven failed to keep these standards required, they were pulled off the ladder by demons, some to start over, some directly headed toward hell. We are now going to put the icon on the screen, right, Alan? And I want you to allow a moment to let the icon speak to you. Now, this is not necessarily Christian, but about your life. What does it represent to you that you can identify with or feel from the Spirit imbued into that icon? And I'd like you to take a couple minutes to see what you think. And can this side see it? Because I do have the icons with me if you would like to look at them. Are you okay? So I'd like to ask and just shout out, what is an impression that some of you might have received just from what that says to you? Any thoughts?
People waiting in line for an airport.
People waiting in line for an airport. That's a stressful time, isn't it?
Fear.
Fear. Fear? Yes.
Uncertainty.
Uncertainty. These are all the things I imputed as well, although I didn't do the airport thing, but I could now. When I saw that icon so long ago, I lost all thought and my mind swept clean, for what I saw was me, living my life as something to achieve, to accomplish, some goal I wanted to attain to give myself meaning, to be better, to be noticed, to be appreciated. I was in that icon, on that ladder, fatigued at trying to do life right, trying to be a good parent, a good wife, doing the right thing at the right time, trying to belong, looking for acceptance. And then my mind went that day as well to our American culture, and I knew I was caught up in that too. Its competitive nature predicted on the lists of who is the wealthiest, the biggest house, the most money, the most influence, who has the most power. I felt my energy drain away that day, and I was left depleted. Then Barb showed me a second icon. This icon you're about to see is called the Holy Trinity, and in modern terms, often referred to as Sarah's Circle. It's a depiction of this monk, of an interpretation of Abraham and his wife, Sarah, from the Old Testament, welcoming three visitors,
and the hospitality that they gave them. So take a moment and get the impression or what this says to you. Anybody have any thoughts? I'm sorry. Serenity. Community. Safety. These are powerful words. It's a powerful picture. That day, as I stared at that icon at Sarah's Circle, I felt of knowing across me that said, this is where I want to be. This is all the things I really yearned for. As we said, their peacefulness, their harmony, their acceptance of each other. Actually, in this icon, there is no first place or there is no last place. And more importantly, no one knows who is first or who is last. And above all, no one cares. It brought to my mind a Rumi quote that I've always loved. Out beyond the ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. That, to me, is Sarah's Circle. It is 30 years later, and I still have those two icons on my wall in my cabin. I can tell, too, when I waffle between the two, and most of you know that as well. When I become tense and a bit short-tempered, I know I'm on Jacob's ladder, thwarted by trying to achieve something that's not really even there. And then I can tell why I am in Sarah's Circle, because there I am enough, I am accepted, and I am content. That's grace. But that's not the end of the story where I stop, because I believe our congregation has been visited by grace as well, and she did not leave us where she found us. 4 years ago, when I went onto the board, we were struggling as a congregation, and COVID dipped us even deeper into that well. We lost members who drifted away. Many of our leaders had moved away, and some had passed away. Now, I want to emphasize this is not unique to our congregation, for after COVID, in many organizations and throughout UUA, there were struggles to find a new way of being due to COVID. But this is part of our story. One solution at the time was, in effect, we placed a ladder against a wall to how we might recover where we had been. Various solutions were proposed, none of which seemed to agree to the most of us. Harsh words were spoken, there were angry outbursts, and it resulted in several board members quitting, not only the board, but our congregation. It was Jacob's ladder. No one listening to each other, no compromise, insisting on one's own needs, staggering, clinging to those rungs and trying to claw up to the next one, unable to hear each other and not wanting to. To add to our deepening problems, Reverend J resigned. I remember those moments. The ladder had collapsed from the wall, and it threw us into uncertainty of what to do or how to do it. The way of being together and doing the work of this congregation's ministry was not working. We were stressed, apprehensive, groping for answers, unsure of our future. With those empty hands, thinking we knew the way ourselves, the rungs of the ladder strewn behind us, the moments of grace began to happen. Reverend Patrick appears out of nowhere, as we found no one in the UA portal. Gates makes a phone call that magically brings him to us. Who else could we have gotten that would be any better? We didn't even have to look for him. Ken offers to be a youth RE director. Reverend Patrick offers to stay for a second year. Reverend Sabrina appears to us soon to be our third-time pastor. The board you've met is solid with committed members. Our budget is in the black, and our numbers are rising. There is a new energy that is released that lifts us up when we finally get out of our own way of trying to force results. We abandon Jacob's ladder, and without knowing it, grace enters. She brings to us, she reminds us of our own desires as stated in our congregational vision and mission, which simply states, create beloved community. We have shown renewed desire to be that beloved community when we voted to approve our new covenant of right relations. The Healthy Congregation Task Force presented us that last year, and we voted to approve it. It is a covenant within our congregation to each other. It calls us to be all those things we see in that picture: empathetic, compassionate, respectful, invitational, resolution of conflicts, listening with both ears. These qualities are grace itself. For grace is not simply, aha, I get it, but as well about what we offer to each other. It is acceptance of people as they are, being human to humans. It is the South African meaning of Ubuntu, I am because you are. It is the women in Sarah's circle sitting there, leaning toward each other in acknowledgement that each is a gift to each other, as they are, and that is enough, and that is grace. So I look around, wondering if I'll be able to recognize grace when I see it, and I do. I saw it last night as I was driving into a beautiful sunset. I see it in the flowers blossoming on the golf course. I see it in a butterfly who wings its flight. I hear it in a bird song. I hear it in the harmony of cicadas at dusk. And I see it amidst us. I receive grace when I am greeted at the door by a hello that says, we're glad you're here. I see it when we lift together our voices in song. I see it when we lean into each other at coffee to hear better, when we light a candle for a private joy or a sorrow. Grace are the volunteers, all of us, who give our time to this congregation to create paths for a beloved community. It's a balanced budget from the generosity of our pocketbooks. It's listening to ideas with thoughtfulness. It's a hand across the shoulder. It's a smile. It's a hug. Grace is our hospitality teams that tend to us at coffee hour, to the property committee and their long hours who beautify our property, to the sound booth people who make things to be heard, to the choir who fills us with song, to the social media team who communicates to the world we are here, to the pastoral care team that says we care, to all of us here, this place, and not here today. That is grace. It is the mysterious grace that meets us where we are, but does not leave us where it found us. And here is the big secret. This is the paradoxical laugh of the universe, and it's told in the following story. It's called The Secret. The Creator gathered all of creation together and said, I want to hide something from the humans until they are ready for it. It is the realization that they create their own reality. The eagle said, give it to me. I'll take it to the moon. The Creator said, no. One day they're going to go up there and find it. The salmon said, I will bury it in the bottom of the ocean. No, the Creator said, they're going to end up going there too. The buffalo said, I will bury it on the Great Plains. The Creator said, no, they're going to cut into the skin of the earth and they'll find it even there. Grandmother Mole, who lives in the breast of Mother Earth and has no physical eyes, but sees with spiritual eyes, said, put it inside them. And the Creator said, it is done. And that's where we find the ultimate source of grace. It's not out there somewhere. It's within us. It's in each of us when we let the light in and choose a path of belonging. when we quit striving for the things we want, when we step off the ladder trying to achieve, the light of grace sweeps us away into the sweeps away the darkness, and beloved community begins, not only in ourselves, with ourselves, but in those around us. It has always been there, waiting for us to relax into life and accept ourselves as human, needing other humans. I have one more icon to show. In a way, it's not an icon, but to the UUs, it might be. This is being voted on, it was yesterday, in the GA Assembly, a new way to show us our 8 principles. The vote as to whether UUAs across the nation have accepted this new template, this new way to show our values, will be announced this afternoon at the last session of the GA. When I was doing this service and thought of the ladder and hit the microphone, but Sarah's circle, this came to mind. This actually came to mind. And it's why I certainly hope that it passes. This is a representation of Sarah's circle. This is the UUs. This is grace. It is in the center where we find the love of self and others, and we expand that outward into the world. Not through rules or laws or must-have-tos, but through grace. And I just wanted to share that as an impression that we will be living with this, if indeed it did pass, and we'll know later today. So, when we do have that moment of aha, when we realize we are the spark of life that brings forth miracles in us and others, then grace smiles and closes the door, for we have stumbled upon the secret. Grace met us where we were, but does not leave us where she will find us. For she was in us all the time, and that is grace. Amen. Please rise as you are willing or able to sing our closing hymn, number 323, Break Not the Circle. Be seated. Join together as we extinguish the chalice flame with the words on the screen or written in the order of service. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. So we complete our journey of grace, but it's just really beginning, isn't it? It's always growing and strengthening itself. I would like to close with one of my favorite stories, finding it appropriate, and it's called Seeing My Brother or Sister. An old rabbi once asked his pupils how they can tell when the night has ended and the day has begun. Said one of the students. Could it be when you see an animal in the distance and you can tell whether it's a sheep or a goat? No, answered the rabbi. Another said, is it when you can look at a tree in a distance and see whether it's a fig tree or a peach tree? No, answered the rabbi. Then what is it? The pupils demanded. He replied, it is when you can look on the face of any man or woman and see that it is your sister or your brother. Because if you cannot see this, it is still night. And so we end with this request. Let this be our request. Please let our center hold. The center is what binds us together. The strength of the center is what allows us to stretch farther into the future, into the unknown, the untried, the uncertain, the unnerving, the place where growth happens. Let the center be strong, and let the center of this that is within us grow. Let the center of ourselves expand to encompass all that we touch, we feel, we see. May the strength of the center strengthen us as we seek, as we embody compassion, work for equity, and demand justice for all. May our center hold, strong as an old oak tree, flexible as a willow tree, life-giving as an orange tree, as sheltering as a pine tree, and as beautiful as the almond tree in blossom. May this be so. Amen.